words remain the same. Now the story's been told. Call me anytime, never cop out. Lioness is on the rise, don't you ever let go. Good night! Good night, St. Michael Southeast family. Oh God, I feel like this is a national meeting. Okay. What a good and pleasant feeling to be amongst each and every one of you. Let me start by the outset by telling you, my voice is hoarse, but there is nothing, not sickness, not hoarseness, not the Democratic Labour Party, that will ever stop me from stepping on a stage and making sure that I talk to my people. Good night. Now I want to thank a few people before I really start. Uncle Glenn, he calls himself the High Commissioner. This is a man I have known my entire life. A man that even when I have sat in Parliament, he used to call me by the nickname Santi Panty. And I used to have to hold my head in shame because that was a nickname that I had from a very small child. I just respond to him and smile politely. But I want to thank you, Uncle Glenn, because I called you this morning and I asked you to do this. From the time you came back to Barbados, you've been calling to say, Santi, I want whatever you want me to do. I am willing to walk with you because I know the constituency, I know the work that you've been doing. I know the legacy of your dad is very much alive, and I want to be there to support and to be with you. So I want to thank Uncle Glenn tonight. Give him a round of applause, please. Okay. I also want to thank Tyra, because, you know, this young lady, she said I gave her first boots. But I suppose my legacy is that I've given a lot of first boots. And her story is an interesting one. I remember watching this young lady from my bed, watching her speak as the president of the Democratic Labour Party for the Young Socialists. And a part of me actually appreciated her fierceness, her spirit, and her story of struggle, but her story of wanting to speak out and to have that fire in her belly. And at the time, obviously, she was hitting hard on the Barbados Labour Party and attacking our policies. But like others who have come to their senses, she has also realized that there's nothing on the other side. And that in the Barbados Labour Party, as Prime Minister Motley says, the tent is big. That we have recognized that all of the talent will not always be found in the Barbados Labour Party. And that if we are to truly lead and to transform the country, that sometimes you have to open up your arms and your hearts to be able to welcome people who have something to do to help us to transform the country. And so I welcome Tyra into the arms of the Barbados Labour Party, and I know my St. Michael Southeast family, whenever that time comes, is going to be in her constituency to make sure that we get rid of Fluffy and make sure that no opponent believes that they can just simply run from St. John and come across to St. Michael West and believe that they can topple this young lady. So I ask you all as well, because I know we are all interconnected, to make sure that Tyra Trotman is also given the support to be able to be elected on February 11th. But I like the fact as well that, you know, when I gave her the shoes, I called her after the incident happened on the stage at the meeting the other night with the presentation of candidates. And it reminded me, because I saw, you know, the videos online circulating where it showed a young lady who tripped and fell. And, you know, she likes to wear heels, very immaculately dressed, and I love that about her as well. But I also know that Bajans can be a little hard panya. And I equally saw the memes that came out. And I cast my mind back to a time when I was playing with the kids on Parkinson pasture, the small pasture. And I went with my fast self being challenged by my PA, Angela. I all remember this. And I decided, I had on my little ballerina slippers at the time. And of course, I did not come intending that I was playing games specifically with the children. But of course, those who know drills in football would know, you know, you put down the little things on the ground and you run and you turn and you come back and you turn and you come back. And when I start to run and I turn, I fall down. fall down deep down on the ground. And I got up and I made sure that before my friends posted it online, that I posted it online because they sent me the video. And I did that because I believe in life sometimes you gotta laugh at yourself. You gotta be able to make sport at yourself. And those who know me know that I am the biggest joker when the opportunity arises to laugh at myself, right? I love humor. And what I saw at the time was an opportunity to say to the public as well, that sometimes you fall down, and sometimes you got to pick yourself back up, and you got to show the children that it's okay to fall down, but what is important in life is that you get back up off your behind and you continue to do what you do. And it is for that reason I reached out to Berga and Nicole and I said, I am getting Tyra Trotman a pair of trainers, red of course, because you know we bring in the Puma boots through the Brewster's Trust that has been supporting the Pinelands community for years now. And we made sure that we are able to give Puma boots at a reasonable price to all of the football communities. And that is the story of why I gave her this evening a pair of Puma trainers from the Pinelands Youth Soccer Academy. Big up yourself, Pinelands. And she performed, she ain't gonna fall down because she got the right shoes now. And then I want to thank Chris Gibbs, because Chris spoke tonight about housing, and this cast was chosen very carefully, because as Chris took you back to a time when he reached out and he was dealing with a loved one who was going through breast cancer, and he reached out for advice, and just as I do for my constituents, just as I do for everybody across the country, I take a genuine interest in people and their health, and I was able to work with Chris and the individual to make sure that they understood how to stay the course. But Chris was also here tonight because Chris is the Minister of Housing. And I represent the largest housing estate in the country. And I do not let my colleagues ever forget that I, little Santia, represent a constituency where over 6,000 people reside between the Wildy and the Pinelands area. And many of those persons come from a community that is densely populated. A community which, despite us over the years trying our best to make sure that we ease the pressure and to build out housing, that we're only now starting to turn the corner in terms of being able to give people the opportunity to be able to be properly accommodated. And so I wanted Chris to come tonight so that those of you who didn't have the opportunity to see the man who has been helping me in Parliament, to be able to make sure that title has been transferred to the people in Rock Close, to make sure that the people in Ferniehurst and Rock Avenue and up in Watton and all of the other areas, that they would have the opportunity to hear from him firsthand. That the Barbados Labour Party understands what it means to the people who live in housing areas to be able to have opportunity to own their own homes. But this is not a party that has been prepared to simply hand over housing units to its people. Not like the Democratic Labour Party did back in 2008. When they came and they told the people across the housing estates that if they elected them, that they were going to hand over the housing units if they lived in the housing units for 20 years. And they handed over the units with the wells not maintained. They handed over the units with the electrical upgrades not done. They handed over the units with repairs to doors and to windows, and basic repairs not having been even considered, or even a program being put in place to do it. And I remember as an opposition MP in the Senate and then in the House, constantly advocating for the changes to come, where a time would come where while you vest the title in the residents in the housing estates, that you also recognize that there were works that had to be done if you were going to hand over the units to people. Because while it is important to have title, so that if somebody get in trouble, you have security. And while it is important to be able to have it so you can go to the bank and you can borrow some money to get repairs done on the unit. And while it is important that you have title, because then you're able to stand on your 2 feet and know that what you have lived in is yours. Equally, a Barbados Labour Party administration recognized that it wasn't just about title. Because many of these units out here were built in the 1960s. Many of these units have outlived their usefulness. Many of these units, many of you live in, you're not able to repair them the way that you would have wanted. And what the Barbados Labour Party did is, having accepted that the 20-year program came into effect, is that we then put a program in place when we came to office to make sure that we started to upgrade the sewage systems across the estates, not just in the Pinelands community, but across all of the communities that have housing estates. We made sure that we started the process of electrical upgrades, because everybody knows the stories of the house fires. I have grown up with people coming to my dad's house and coming down on mornings and people having burned their soul out because they lost their house in a fire and they needed assistance and us having to respond. I've grown up coming out here in the wee hours of the morning to respond to a house fire. Not like my last opponent, not Rodney, but the one before, who used to just turn up for the photo ops, but not even a bag of toiletries or an assistance in terms of what to do in terms of welfare or how to get back your ID. Because the Barbados Labour Party understands that when you find yourselves in those situations, that it is more than the photo op. That it is about giving tangible assistance to people when they find themselves in that predicament. And the Barbados Labour Party administration came to office and made sure, and I talked about this last night, and Toya, if you are in the audience, I think you will understand my repeating this. Because my people in St. Michael Southeast and across the estates must come to understand that a young man lost his life in Regent Hill, despite the cries coming from me as an opposition MP, to say to the then Democratic Labour Party administration that we needed to fix and cover the wells in our community. And a young mother lost her son. And all of us mourned as a community because of it. Now, I don't attribute it to one person in the Democratic Labour Party or any individual or any entity. I simply say that these are the small things that a Barbados Labour Party administration recognized that on coming to office we had to do, because we made sure that we would never see a day where we had to weep and mourn over the lives of any young man or woman in this community or any community across the estates. And we have started the program to make sure that any broken cover, any well across this community that requires urgent attention, that the Barbados Labour Party administration, with the assistance of NHC, has been able to start a program to be able to do that. Have we done all the upgrades or have we done all of the sewage systems? I can tell you we haven't. But what we have done is embarked on a journey that is a long journey, but a journey where we have started the effort to make sure that we can make wrong things right. That you can allow your children to go out and play, and to make sure that you don't have to hold your head and hold your belly because you're not sure what is going to happen. That is what the Barbados Labour Party administration did. We have been working with the estates, and I want to big up a man named Padmore, because Padmore has also been one of, for me, I don't care what anybody says, the hardest working officer that I've ever seen in the Pinelands estate. He and his team at NHC respond whenever we call. Even as we've been doing stuff in this community over the last few years, many of you have had the interactions with him, and he can be a little rough at times, but he has the heart of St. Michael's Southeast and the estates at heart. And he has been able to make sure and respond to the issues of sewage in the community. Because nobody likes to live in a situation where age-old pipes breaking constantly have resulted in people having issues where they have the backups. And one by one, we have determined that we will continue to fix these issues within the St. Michael's Southeast community. So I want to thank Chris for coming tonight to be able to share the perspective in terms of how, as a Barbados Labour Party administration, we intend to enable people to become rightful owners of their homes, while at the same time continuing to have an aggressive maintenance program that allows for the much needed repairs to be done across the Pinelands and the Wildy estates. The Barbados Labour Party administration also, I remember in 2008, I remember us walking into the Golden Rock area, and Prime Minister, she was leader of the party at the time, and my colleagues, going to the houses on a mass canvas and realizing how densely populated the Golden Rock area was, and making a determination there and then that we would do all in our power whenever we came to office to make sure that we ease the density within the estates in the Pinelands and Wildy area. And this Barbados Labour Party administration was able to do a land swap where we were able to acquire 40 acres of land in the Lower Burney area, 20 acres of which has been allocated to the people of St. Michael's Southeast. I am proud tonight to say to you that we have not only acquired the land, but we have started to look at the designs, and that very shortly the roads will be put into that estate with a view to being able to have the construction done. And many of you are aware, because the officers from housing have visited you and through the social programs, to be able to understand the issues of density in this community, to be able to look at how best we can allocate, starting with those who need it the most, the large families, the families where the overcrowding is unbearable, but also on the 20 other acres, giving an opportunity for people who are working and who can also afford a mortgage to be able to own a piece of the rock. And I want to say tonight that I want to thank my Prime Minister in front of all of you, because it is Prime Minister Motley that has listened to the cries about the density in this community. The fact that you have little girls that sometimes end up getting filled up by big hardback men because they go live in rooms where there's only one mattress on the floor and 10 and 11 people living there. And people doing all kinds of naughty things in the middle of the night, and the little children having to peep and see what it is that's going on. And if there's one thing in public life that I want to bring an end to, it is being able to ease the density across not just St. Michael's Southeast, but across all of the estates across this country. Because it becomes a breeding ground for a lot of our social issues. My father, when he was the representative, made sure that St. Michael's Southeast has perhaps the most open spaces and perhaps the most pavilions and hardcore facilities. And why did he do that? He did it because he understood the issue of density. He understood the issue of overcrowding. He understood that when you will have large numbers in a house, that sometimes tensions flare. And it's important to make sure that you're able to give people space to be able to recreate. And that is why you have Parkinson Field, not just the small pasture, but the big pasture. And that is why you have the Meadow Road Pavilion. And over in Macpill, you got the Macpill Pavilion. And down in Princess Royal, you got the basketball court. Because Santia Bradshaw understood in his day what I understand today as the priorities that a Barbados Labour Party administration must have in this country. And that is why we have put lights on the small pasture, so that the academy and the senior side, and all who want to play football in this country and in this community can come to Southeast and to make sure that they can play not just in the day, but they can play at night. In this next term, one of the things that I want to do is to make sure that we can bring lights on the large pasture, because we've already got them up in Map Hill at the pavilion, but I want to bring the lights next to the Parkinson pasture to fulfill as well something that Brady started and had the vision for when he was the representative for this constituency. The good news is that down in Meadow Road, you would have seen in the manifesto last night announced by the party in Golden Square that Meadow Road has been announced as one of the locations for a full build out of a community center. Because one of the things that I have had to do is to open a private community center in the Golden Rock area to make sure that our young people and our elderly have a space in which they can recreate, because the pavilion down Meadow Road is too small and does not lend itself for activities to be able to take place there. We have started by making sure that the lights have been placed on the hard court. And I've been in discussions with those in MTW because I want to see that the lights are now able to surround the Meadow Road pavilion to make sure that there's proper lighting out there, that we can be able to have the activities that we have on the small pasture here in Parkinson as well. But I ain't stopping there, because the work has already started at Golden Rock as well. I got a call today that they've already started the installation of the solar lights in the Golden Rock Park, coming from where the police outpost is, going in and around the area of the park to make sure that we better light the area out there. And why do these simple things matter? These things matter to the people of St. Michael's Southeast. These things matter to the people of the country. These are the small things that we do as a party. But they matter because I will tell anybody that I have seen and felt the pain of murder after murder in the Golden Rock area. Innocent people getting killed in this community senselessly, and mothers having to hold their belly and bowl because people can't reconcile differences in an amicable way. And we want to make sure that at least while we work on the issues of being able to deal with divisions across communities, whether outside and within our own community, that we do the little things that will make our people feel safe. Because it hurts me to know that my children in St. Michael's Southeast can't go and play in the Golden Rock Park, or can't go outside late at night because of issues of criminal activity plaguing our community. It hurts. It hurts because I have probably buried more young men than any other representative across this country. And I feel it because I am intimately involved with my community. So as I stand here tonight, I ain't come to just talk about the plans, but I come in to talk to Winner. Because I want Winner to understand the direct impact that actions have on communities. That it is not enough for us to just simply don on some clothes and go to funerals and, you know, celebrate the life of the person who lives in a coffin, but that each of us have a responsibility to make sure that we pull back our young people. That, as TC said here tonight, you know, I am the peacemaker. That you do the things within communities to allow our young people to be engaged, to get our young people working. That you teach them to care, to recognize that people are different and don't poke fun at people. We need to get back to the basics in our community. And while I have done a lot and I've saved a lot, I can't do it alone. I rely on the efforts of all of you in this community of Parkinson Field and the surrounding areas to help to make a difference in the lives of the community in which you live. Because you live here. And therefore, while we will run programs like what TC spoke about, and while we will do the things to help to lift up the people of this community, equally, I rely on you to help us carry some of the heavy load. We can recruit police officers, and we can arm the police. But I can tell you, you know what hurts me the most sometimes? Is that this community of St. Michael Southeast used to be a hive of activity from this block here, Parkinson Field, down by Diana and Peggy Canteen, down in through Golden Rock, all the way around down by Nancy. And I want to be able to bring back the activities that we've become accustomed to. But I beg you tonight, you see, we can come together for public meetings, but we also want to be able to come out and enjoy ourselves without having to look around the corner or having to decide which area you go to and who's going to feel comfortable. So we will do our part at the national level, but it also requires you, the people of St. Michael Southeast, to join hand in hand and across the country to make sure that we are able to stabilize the streets and to make sure that we can restore the happiness and the enjoyment that we once were accustomed to. We have tried to be able to create opportunities for our young people. So when this area here was not the first spot meeting by chance. It is a reminder to you, the people of this community, who would have said that if nothing good can come from a block, that we're critical about the blocks and the divisions that may have existed in this community at one time, but have come to see a Barbados Labour Party invest in this particular area, what is now called the building blocks of Parkinson Field. Recognizing that we have a Parkinson Field Business Center just across the corner from here as well. And we have young men and women who were given the opportunity under a Barbados Labour Party administration to not only own their own businesses, but to undertake training in small business enterprise, to make sure that they have an opportunity to not only feed themselves, but also to be able to feed their families as well, and to employ other people. And that is why we are here tonight starting my spot meetings. Because I want you to understand, just as we see the people who are here, we see all people. That is why you can see Rodney Grant step to my platform tonight. Because just as Prime Minister Morley's tent is big, my tent even bigger. I deal with the loyalty for community first and foremost. I have the pride and the legacy of knowing that even at 84, that he got a better social life than me. Because he is not just the grandfather to many and the godfather, but he's probably also fathered a couple that I may not know about too. But Delisle is active even at his age, from TikTok to Instagram to Facebook. He continues to be the mentor and perhaps my biggest fan. And Daddy, I know you're out there and I want to say thank you to you as well. Because I am who I am, not just because of my father and those who support me and my family, but I am who I am because of his legacy. Because it is into the homes of you that I go where you tell me what he did for you, that has inspired me to make sure that I surpass all that he has done. And I am proud tonight. I look around and I see people who people would look past, and I can see them working today, standing on their own 2 feet and standing tall, owning their own money, and in some cases having an opportunity to own their own homes as well. Because it is for me about legacy, and it is about loyalty. It is about making sure that the people who support you That you do not leave public life and leave them where they are, but that in everything you do as the representative, that you bring people along, that you never leave people where you find them. And that is why I say to everybody, I am not here to be about a transaction. You will never hear Santia Bradshaw name call with buying votes. The votes and the support that I've gotten in this constituency, that has given me the support and put me where I am, has been based on loyalty. When others frowned upon people, I took them in. And I said, come walk with me. Because I will never pay for a vote. Because if I pay for the vote, I owe you nothing. But if you ask me to help you, and you want to be helped, I will help, and I will do all in my power to make sure that I can help you. But equally, what I tell people is, you can't come to me and tell me, Mom, I want a job. You gotta tell me what you want to do. And you gotta tell me that you do the research to determine what it is that you want me to help you do. Because I believe that this journey is about meeting people halfway. So it is about the help up to make sure that you can do better. It is not about the handouts that I have come to public life for. And in everything I have done, I don't have to talk about the children's parties or all of the adult pamper programs or all the senior events that I do, because the people of this community know what I do already. The ones outside may not know all of it.
That's right.
But I understand that service is not about every photo op. I don't post everything I do, and I don't talk about everything that I do. Because I don't believe that I have to. I believe that the people of this community, even if you say, well, you ain't see me, or I ain't do for you, it may mean that you may not have wanted me to do for you. Or that I may have helped somebody else in the community that you know about. It's like people say, well, I want this road and that road done. But when I say, but you hear about Highway 7, or you hear about Crab Hill, or you hear about, as I saw this evening, the one from Life of Barbados roundabout going up to Graham Hall, getting done. I can't do all. But I do what I can based on the resources that I have. And I want to tell you, I am proud of St. Michael Sulphur to have been the representative for the last 13 years. Proud.
Okay.
I wear it like a badge of honor. Because I understand the loyalty that exists between me and the people. And I am not worried. People say, Sandy, I don't know what you both here, all the meetings and where you canvassing and all of that. But I don't take anything for granted. Because I have worked hard all through my years, from the days of the Senate to now. From the days, I told me when I stood on a platform in Golden Rock at the age of 16, I've been working hard. From the time of managing Lil Rick and Peter Ram and Biggie Irie and Mr. Dale and Skinny Fabulous, I have worked hard. I have not done it in Santia Bradshaw's name. I worked to get where I am. And that's why I believe that everybody else must also work hard to get where you want. I work hard, and you're going to see me out here amongst you, because Prime Minister has finally given us a little break to get back on the ground. But you all know that things do not happen in the country without people working hard. We're working even though we are in the middle of an election. Prime Minister still got us in cabinet, still have us working in the name of the people. Because that is what we came to public office to do. So even if you do not see me every day, you know that my hands are through the community with my team, and I want to big up my team tonight, because I can't do what I do without the team, Angela and Simone and the entire branch and all of you that have lifted me up and continue to help me to do my work. I can't do it. But I don't worry about opponents. I get on and do my job. I don't put up my own posters. I give work to the young people of this community. to allow them to help me to put up my posters. Because when they send me a poster with my opponent putting up his own posters, I've never seen anything like it in my life. Y'all know I would direct where the posters go. But if there's an opportunity to create employment and opportunities for people, even in a campaign, I will never be standing up trying to tape up a poster of myself on a pole. Not Santia Bradshaw. And any man who believes that having only been the teacher at Wilkie Commonwealth School is your gateway to representing St. Michael's Southeast, well, I got another thing coming for you. My people in St. Michael's Southeast are accustomed to representation. So we are not going to shortchange St. Michael's Southeast. That because you taught a student that is your gateway, your avenue to being able to walk up the steps of Parliament. Because I do not see my opponent at a funeral. I don't see him at football. I don't see him at cricket. I don't see him spending any money by the bar. I don't see him taking care of no old people. I don't see him taking care of no young people. In fact, I don't see him. So I say to you tonight, St. Michael's Southeast, and I ain't cocky. I know one. I know one. And I know what St. Michael's Southeast needs in this next journey that we are on.
That's right.
February 11th is voting day. I'm asking you to go to your numbers, to give me the support to continue the journey of representing you. My Prime Minister has stuck by me through illness, as have you. My Prime Minister could have put me aside and said, Zania, rest yourself for that year. But you know what she said? I realized that you go work regardless of what you're going through. And she made sure that I continued to be the Minister of Education. No matter what I was going through in cancer treatment, Prime Minister Motley stood by my side and made sure that I could still do my job. And I'm here to tell you tonight that in doing my job as Minister of Education at the time, I made sure that the Wilkie Commonwealth School, which has one of the largest school rolls in this country, and for which the majority of the kids in St. Michael's Southeast attend, that while we were doing the repairs that my opponent wanted to talk about and call up meetings to talk about how we got issues in the school, that we made sure that we not only repaired the school, but we went further and we had the designs done, which many of you may be asking, what's going on at Wilkie Commonwealth? What's going on at Wilkie Commonwealth? What is going on at Wilkie Commonwealth is the expansion of the school, which your representative for St. Michael's Southeast made sure as Minister of Education at the time that we put in place the design work so that construction work could begin in the future to make sure that your children and the teachers who teach at the school were comfortable to teach your children. Rome was not built in a day, St. Michael's Southeast. And everything that starts today will not always come to fruition in the time frame that you may want. But I am proud today as I walk down Princess Royal today to see the hoarding going up around the Wilkie Commonwealth School, to know that our children have been relocated temporarily, but that the days of the complaints of our teachers and the security complaining that people could just walk in the school and do as they like, that those days are coming to an end. That we will make sure that not only do we expand the school and bring forward the structure that is currently there to bring it in line with the largest structure on the site, but that we are also able to have a covering to allow the children of Wilkie Comerback School to be able to have a roof under which they can say prayers, they can have their speech day, they can have their graduations, and they can do their activities with a proper shelter at the Wilkie Comerback School. Okay. Because Wilkie Comerback School, he may have taught there, but Wilkie Comerback School for me is where all the little parties used to happen when I was a little girl. It was where all the lucky dips and the school fairs used to happen. It was where all the public meetings and the branch meetings used to be had. So I don't have to have gone to Wilkie Comerback. I have a vested interest in making sure that St. Michael's Southeast gets what it deserves. And I stopped there over at Parkinson Memorial Secondary School, where when you check, a number of our young people have attended. And a lot of our older people have come through that institution. As Minister of Education, I remember being told that the building on the block on the main road across from CBC, that it was a condemned building under the Democratic Labour Party. We were short of classrooms at that school, and I had the report dug up, the file put on my desk, and I said, you see this? We got children that in some cases operating below par. But the one thing that I know that is the spirit of this community, and Rodney will tell you, is music and the creative arts. And I want that building to be restored to make sure that we have the opportunity that if a child is not academic, that we give them the opportunity to be able to explore their talents in the creative arts. And I don't know if uncondemn is a word, but I can tell you today that the block belonging to the Parkinson Memorial Secondary School that you see on the main road with windows going in and a little paint going on that was hoarded up for the last few months is now going to be the restoration of a creative arts building for the students of the Parkinson Secondary School. It was a partnership started when I was the minister with the Goddard's Group, a private entity, corporate entity that we engaged in discussions with to make sure that we could restore the condition of that building. The government put in some, and the Goddard's Group put in some. Because we recognize as a government that we can't do all. That sometimes you have to get the corporate entities on board to be able to help us to accelerate things a bit faster. And therefore, I thank the Goddard's Group that we can see the vision becoming a reality. Because I believe within the next few weeks, we will have the opportunity to celebrate the classrooms being restored so that our young people have the opportunity to be able to be the best they can be in whatever they put their hands to. So while we've been working on housing, while we've been working on electrical upgrades, while we've been working on making sure that the units in Parkinson Field and the surrounding areas have been maintained, we've also been dealing with the infrastructure and making sure that as we transform education, that we also provide opportunities within St. Michael's Southeast to make sure that we improve the conditions that our young people learn in, because they must spend more time there than they must spend at home, and therefore we must capture their imagination within the time that we have available to us in that space. So tonight, St. Michael's Southeast, I return home to Parkinson Field, an area where my father used to park me as a little girl by the Evelyn's, by Stacy and Sherlyn and Julian. I grew up with them and Rambo here and Jack in that whole area there in Parkinson Field. I may not have lived and slept in Parkinson Field, but I grew up as one out here with my God brothers and my God sisters. And I'm grateful that today that I have fostered a relationship with them from a young age that continues to be something of which I am extremely proud that they, at this big age of mine, that they can come and pull my door at the house anytime and I can pull theirs. That is legacy, St. Michael Southeast. I don't have to sell myself because I know that in my heart, that the people of St. Michael Southeast know where my heart is. They know where my heart is. And like I said, I am grateful for the opportunity to have been able to serve you, the people of this constituency. And so long as I have life, so long as I have breath in my body, I will do all within my power to continue to serve you honestly, to serve you selflessly, and to serve you fiercely, the only way that I know how. Because you have been with me in the roughest of times. That song, Lioness on the Rise, is not by chance. It is not by chance. You have been with me in the roughest and the toughest of times. And the Barbados Labour Party, as we face this next general election, need to have the opportunity to be able to complete the journey. So for some of you who may say, well, we ain't voting and we ain't interested, I hear it. I met a young lady in Princess Royal yesterday. A young lady, she said to me, Santia, I ain't voting though. That ain't for me. No, we care about them. We care about them. And I gotta tell you why we care about them. Because I could easily walk away when somebody says they're not voting or they're not on the list. But I believe that I have to take the time to tell you why you ought to vote. Because I believe that our forefathers fought for the right for people who did not look like you and me to be able to have the power to put people in power to represent them who look like them. And I will never take for granted either the power of the people to go to a polling station to cast their X for who they want to represent them. I say to those of you who are undecided, who say, you ain't want to vote, Barbados Labour Party gonna win when they see the polls this morning, go out and vote. Because you must remember your history. The young lady that I spoke to, when I engaged with her, I spoke to her about a program that she had undertaken. She does nails, she does lashes. And we spoke about a program that was facilitated by none other than the Barbados Labour Party. And perhaps sometimes we don't tell our story enough. Young people are taking advantage of opportunities from the Trust Loans program to all the programs that are being put on at the various community centers. But the Barbados Labour Party sometimes does not connect the dots so people understand how it is that these programs have been created. From the days of skills training that Daddy would have brought to the Pine, to the programs that now give young people the opportunity to be able to go and do a skill. So that young lady didn't connect the dots until I engaged with her to explain to her that it is because of the Barbados Labour Party that she's able to engage in programs, in many cases free of cost or at reduced cost, to be able to better herself and to make a living for herself and her family. She doesn't have to vote for me. But it is my responsibility as a representative and a leader to let people know what the Barbados Labour Party has done. We have given young people the opportunity in this country to be able to obtain a trust loan. Many of you out here have benefited from them, the $5,000. And if you pay back the $5,000, you get a $10,000. Our manifesto launch tonight is now giving you the opportunity to get $20,000 to be able to start your small business. Which other administration has ever backed the people of this country in this way? We understand that many of you cannot get to go to a bank to be able to get a loan. But this administration decided when we came to office that we would risk with you, because we understand that everybody don't have a fairy godmother and a fairy godfather. But that if we didn't put the systems in place to allow you to be able to access financing, to pursue your dreams, and to risk on you, that there was nobody else that was going to risk on you. So when you see them coming to you and asking for the X, ask them what they plan to do for the youth and the people who are entrepreneurial in this country to make sure that they can take their ideas and make something of it. This Barbados Labour Party has made life better for Barbadians. And once we are given the opportunity to be able, no, I ain't premature, Santomia. When we are given that opportunity, once again, to continue to build on what we have been building on, it is our intention to continue to lay out the program for the people and to be able to deliver on the journey that we have started. So I want to encourage you, and I want to tell you, I have to be at a meeting at 8:25. I have to speak in Wharton, but I'm going to spend a little time before I go up the road, because we got some other licks now to share on the national platform. But to say to you, the people of Parkinson Field, I want to thank you for your support. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of you who have come out tonight. I want to thank the young men and women in front of me, because many of you, I love Una. I really do. I love you. I really, really, really do. I want to thank the young men who came out today to make sure that this space was ready. I want to thank you for not being afraid to say you support Santia. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for the loyalty that you have exhibited towards me. And to know that I will continue to stand by you and to lift you up, because nothing gives me greater pleasure than to hear a young man or woman say, Santia, thank you for the job that you have given me the opportunity to have, to take care of my family, or to have taken me off the block, or to call me to say that the Barbados Labour Party has now allowed you to be appointed to make sure that you have security of tenure. There is nothing that gives me greater pride than to know that we've been able to lift you up, that you can get a vacation like anybody else, that you can feel that you now come from somewhere, that you can stand on your own 2 feet, and that you can build on the foundation that we have given to you, not by handouts, but by helping you up. So I want to thank you as I close. Thank you, Belle. Thank you, Calvin. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Randy. Thank you to my entire technical team. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to Bouncer. Thank you to every single person that has made tonight possible. St. Michael Sophie's got more talent than any other community. Wanna see the stage? Wanna see the stage? This is Bell Productions, people. This is one of we people on the back of a truck. On the back of a truck, a flatbed truck. Bell, big up yourself tonight. They want it, but they can't get it. It belongs to St. Michael Sophie's, because we are leaders first and followers not. Good night, St. Michael Sophie's. I love one.